Hi, Elaine.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
It's, I know
Okay.
it's funny just talking without a video, but I don't dare put my video on.
I've just started the recording and I'm going to hit mute, so you won't be able to chat with each other now. Okay, so good morning, everybody. A nice slushy one out there. So it's nice to have this practice that we can continue to do in community. It's been a long time, a lot of months, and we're all feeling the effects of some hibernation, which is not a bad thing. But today we're just going to balance. This is a flow, all levels yoga class, so you can modify and adjust the postures, take breaks, change it up, whatever you need to do. And I just wanted to mention that the balancing aspect of it between the prana, which is the life force, really expanding, taking up space, feeling all of that uplifting energy in the body, which we haven't had so much of, and balancing that with the apana, which is the more grounding, solidity, equanimity, bringing the energy down, child's pose, or just being really earthy and connected with the physical body, the lower regions of the body, all of those basic needs being met. So we're just going to kind of play with the balance of those today. And so as far as anything that you'll need, I've got a cushion that I like to sit on that's kind of firm, and it'll be good at first because we'll want a bit of height so we can get into moving the shoulders easily. So if you have something like that, or you can sit on a chair or a couch, or if you don't need anything, that's fine too. And so if you like to use blocks during your practice, those are good to bring the floor up a little bit. But other than that, don't really need anything. I'm going to sit on this bolster and towards the front end of it, so that'll free up the hips. If you like the hero's pose and you have a couple of blocks and you'd rather be sitting come with a block between or underneath your sits bones, then you can come and sit back like so your heels will be not right underneath your bum, but see what is best for you right now, just so that you can have a feeling of ease in the back and the spine can be long. And I will ring my my bell just to get us in the mood, kind of a habit that we're giving all of the attachment to thinking anyway. Not that we're ever trying to stop thoughts, because that is not the goal, and is actually counter to all. The more we want to try to kind of zone out and stop thinking, the louder those thoughts will get. So we're just going to allow them to be. So the bell will just start us into this practice. So enjoy your practice. And if you'd like to just have the eyes open for a moment here, so that you can take in your physical surroundings, just to see what's here in the visual field, as a way of starting to tap into the sensory realm rather than the mental. So just see what's here in your space without having to focus on anything in particular. And then if you like, you can close the eyes, or just have the gaze be softly down the tip of the nose now, so that there's nothing really to look at per se. Just be aware of the big picture. And so the big picture would include the body posture, whatever shape you're in, and the feeling of ground and support underneath the limbs, the sits bones, even the hands if they're resting somewhere on the lap or thighs. Just to feel that apana, grounding, touching down, landing in the body. And part of the big picture includes breath, feeling sensations of breath that are here. You might notice there's a lifting, expanding, taking up some space as the breath comes in. So that would be the prana, the life force, filling into the belly, the ribs, the chest, and giving some attention to the back body, the lower back, the kidneys, the area between the shoulder blades. You can also notice the apana, the grounding energy, as the carbon dioxide starts to move out of the body on the exhalations. There's a dropping back into sits bones or legs or feet or whatever's touching down. And so let's take a few breaths to just investigate that a little bit further. So as the breath comes in, breathing in through the nose, pausing at the top, so feel that fullness. And then as you exhale, open the mouth, a little bit of sound awareness there, and empty the breath all the way to the very base of the spine, connecting back down with the earth. And just pausing if you can on empty there for a moment. Good, filling in the expansion, taking up space, getting a little bit taller through the crown of the head, and then just hold there. And then whenever you need to, open the mouth and sigh and feel that traveling back down, grounding, equanimity, rooting. Let's do one more like that. Breathing in through the nose. Pause on full. Shoulders might lift a little bit. And then empty, empty, retracting, engaging the belly to empty all the breath out and pause at the bottom. Good, and then let that go and take a few more neutral breaths. In and out through the nose. If you like, the ujjayi ocean sound of the wave can be an anchor for your practice as well. And just use this as a guide, as a tool, as something to just ease the inevitability of thoughts. Just feel those as also events in the experience that are just passing in and out and don't require our engagement. Can open the eyes if they're closed, and we'll reach the arms up. A few sun breaths, just reaching the arms up. Just looking forward to start, and then on the exhale, reach the arms away, flip the palms towards the earth, and bring it back down. Let's reach up. You can look up towards the fingers. They can stay a little bit wide, just warming up the shoulders, and then exhale to look down. Feeling the prana, the lift, the space, the length on the inhale. And then on the exhale, the grounding. Good. Let's just bring the right arm up. Inhaling and then back and around. Try to keep the hips fairly neutral. Inhaling to lift and open any amount. That arm might have a bend. We're not moving the hips a lot with this one, just getting into the shoulder. You can even use your left hand the way I have mine, kind of resting on the right collarbone. Let's do one more big circle there. Inhale, and then just keep it back there. Draw the left elbow a little bit forward and away. And look out over the right shoulder. You can let the hips move with this now, so you get a little more movement in the thoracic spine, in the torso, in the rib cage, and stay with that grounding energy on the exhales. Getting a little bit taller, reaching the left elbow away and forward on the inhale. Just look over to the left now, but keep reaching back through the right arm and take another inhale. Exhale, bring the right arm forward, hook the left elbow underneath and settle down through the right shoulder. And we'll take a couple breaths into that whole right upper back. Growing and expanding on the inhale and anchoring down on the exhale. Let's release the cross of the arms and bring the right elbow up and down, a little bend in the right forearm, looking down to get that into place, and then start to move the head back a little bit, tuck the chin in for a breath there, framing the head, expanding through the side ribs, growing deep roots on the exhale. Let's slide the left arm out and away and bring it to maybe your cushion, or walk the fingertips away a little bit and reach the right arm up again and just into a side stretch. Come up a little bit on the inhale and then exhale the side stretch. Inhale, lengthen. Let the right hand rest behind the back of the skull again and start to open up. So start to move the breastbone towards the ceiling. You might look up a little bit. And then as you exhale, take the right elbow in the direction of the left knee, but scoop and hollow out there so we're not leaning too much forward. It's a cat flexion. And then open up on the inhale. And then exhale, maybe even doing a little bit of shoveling. Maybe feeling something here. Right elbow towards left side. And one more time, breathing in to lift that elbow. Stay with the grounding of the left fingertips and the sits bones. And then exhale, stretch the right arm just forward on that diagonal, reaching a little bit extra there. And we'll come all the way up with the right arm. And we'll just take a little twist over to the right. So right arm can just rest at the side or behind a little bit there as you center things out for another inhale on this side. And back through center, bring the fingertips to the tops of both shoulders. And do a couple circles, bringing the elbows close together on the exhale and then opening wide, squeeze the elbows back. Pelvis stays in neutral, strong anchor, elbows together. You can move with the head and neck and shoulders. Feel some freedom here and exhale. Squeeze the elbows towards each other. One more time, breathing in. And out. Let's bring the elbows back now and reach the arms straight. Back palms can be towards the ceiling, or you can clasp the hands. The elbows can stay bent and squeezed together. Or you can straighten out the arms for 3 breaths here, lifting up through the breastbone. Feeling both the expansion, the prana and the apana, the grounding base. Last inhale. And exhale, release, and just give the shoulders a little shrug a couple times. Release, squeeze and release. Adjust if you like to change the position of your legs, crossing the other shin in front. If you'd rather be standing for this, if you've had enough sitting, do that. We'll just do the other side. So the left arm will reach up and open. Just explore the range of movement or the sensations in the shoulder without forcing through anything. Just finding the balance between a little bit of effort and also just a sense of not working too hard. Let's reach that arm back now. And then start to take it into a twist. So the ribs, the right ribs can start to move towards the left, and maybe the gaze goes that way as well. Let's try to feel that your spine is having some good manners towards itself. So right from the tailbone to the top of the head. Not taking any part of that for granted. Take another inhale. Reaching the right elbow away, and then look out over the right shoulder now, or maybe a little bit, it's more looking forward. Pulling on a bow and arrow for another breath. Good. Now come back to center. Wave the left arm forward, catch it with the right, and draw it across. Softening the weight of the outer left shoulder and hugging the left upper arm bone back into socket for another inhale. Exhale, release the arms. Reach the left arm up and let it dangle down to tickle the back of your neck, and then assist with the right hand, moving the elbow back in space, tucking the outer muscles of that arm in towards center a bit, and breathing in there. Exhale, take the right fingertips out to the side or underneath your cushion or on your thigh. Lift up through the left elbow, and then arm can reach up. And take the side stretch, just going to where the left sits bone can stay nice and heavy. Opening up the left side of the lungs and shoulder. The left hand can dangle behind the head again. Support the head, press it back into the skull a little bit, or press the skull into the hand. Open up the elbow as you breathe in, so the right ribs start to revolve. And then exhale, take the left elbow in the direction of the right knee and scoop the belly back. So flexion there, and then extension. Open it up, inhale. Exhale, engage the core, coming to elbow towards that knee, and then open it up, breathing in. Moving with breath as we do that one more time. And then maybe reach the left arm out on that diagonal, reaching for something out there. One more breath on this side. Come all the way up with the left arm, and we'll take the twist over towards the left. Back through center. Inhale and exhale. Let's bring the fingertips to the tops of the shoulders and circle that out again a few times, seeing if anything feels different or just interesting here. Change direction. Now we've been sitting for enough time. Let's just take that stretch of the arms back to breathe in, palms to the ceiling, or catch the hands together there and reach the arms away from the back for 3. You don't have to follow my counting. It's just to kind of keep us in some rhythm. 2. And 1. Releasing the fingertips, the legs. Let's give it a shake out. And come on to the hands and knees. I'm using a flat blanket to support the knees. Sitting for a little while, so let's have a long tabletop shape. The knees are a little bit flat back from the hips, and just swing the hips from side to side. You can let your hips drop over one side, back through center, and then over to the other side. Let's do one more time each side. Dropping the hip down and keeping some of that core lift. And then come back to center. Walk it in a little bit here. And flip the left fingertips so they're coming back a little more in the direction of the side or facing towards yourself. Let's just stretch out the wrists a little bit. Shifting the weight forward and back. Keeping some pressure through that left palm and a little bend at the elbow. Slowly start to peel the palm up, the thumb, the fingers. And then just place that hand back down forward again. Do the same thing with the right hand. So just flip it back a little to the side, or it can come back further. Little bend at the elbow. If the hands are closer towards your knees, that'll be a little more manageable. If you're really feeling lots going on here, be really, again, just in that good manners, listening. Slowly start to peel the base of the palm, the thumb. You can give it a little wiggle. The whole hand, fingers, fingertips. And then let's have the hands come so they're facing each other with the palms up. Make a little fist there. Try to straighten the arms. And let's just take 3 breaths there. You can curl the fingers into a fist if that's too much. Just lay the fingers flat out and just try to straighten the arms any amount, lifting the belly in. And release. Let's curl the toes under for a moment. Stretch the bottoms of the feet and just sit back towards the heels and do a few flicks or some musical playing. Shake raindrops off. And then come back to either palms pressed, or you can use blocks, or I like to use fists. Let's come to cow, get back onto some breathing. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then exhale, peel the belly up and in. Squeeze the shoulder blades, inhale. Exhale, peel the belly. Once more, inhaling. And exhale. And then find a neutral place. Feel the back of the skull lifting. Feel the press down through the shins, tops of the feet, the palms. Sandwiching the front body to the back body, and then taking the left toes, curling them under and press out through that back heel. So really drive it back. Feel that whole leg light up. Hamstring, calf, and the front hip flexor psoas. Take the left fingers a little bit forward now. Try to keep the pelvis level, the shoulders level. Floating the left fingers and the right toes. And it doesn't matter how high they come, stay connected. Feeling a bit of a suctioning of the upper arm left side into socket and the upper thigh right side into socket as you just come into that balance, pressing into the left shin and right palm, and take another inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand back down, and then we'll just wag the left shin a little bit to the side so the whole right foot can come to the floor. And then press the outer right foot to the floor. You can come up on the right fingertips here and stay with that, or reach the right arm down towards the right heel, wrapping the left ribs under. Right arm reaching up towards the ceiling, next option. Or towards the top of your mat, continuing to plug that upper arm bone into socket, and the left shoulder blade is hugging into center as well. Let's take 3 breaths here. You want to challenge balance a little more, then float the right leg, flex the heel, press out and away from the right fingertips for 1 more breath. Lower the right foot, bring the right hand back down, and just come back to center. Let's take the knees wide and walk the hands forward and send the chest towards the floor. You can be up on your fingertips to get a stretch out for the wrists. No need for the forehead to come down. Just keep that length, space, expansion, the prana, smoothing out the breath for another inhale. Exhaling all the way down to the pelvic floor. And walk the hands back into tabletop shape. Breathe in, cow. Exhale into cat, and maybe back a little further to child's pose. Warming up a little more. Inhale, cow. And exhale to draw the hips back. Inhaling. And exhale, belly to thighs. Shift back to table now and find a neutral spine and curl the left toes under. You can look back for that leg. Just make sure your legs are hips distance apart. Drive out through that heel, lifting the heart and reaching forward with the crown of the head. Start to crawl the right fingers a little forward. And then the float of the leg and the arm, keeping it at a height where the hips and shoulders feel square. And we're not tipping over to the right side, so we really have to drop that outer left hip. Lots of work for another inhale there. Exhale, bring the right hand back down and wag the right shin off on a kickstand, just off to the right side of your mat. Place the whole left foot to the floor. You can look back for that and just come up on your left fingertips. Or if you're using a block or a cushion there, you can do that. Start to revolve the right side of the rib cage under a little bit more, and maybe that left arm reaches back towards the left heel. Sending the ribs down towards the hips and keeping the low back long. The press out through the outer left foot and then the reach up of the left arm or forward with the left arm. So you get that whole side body stretch, waking up. Option to float the left foot off the floor and activate that leg to balance for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the foot first and then start to face the floor again and bring the left knee in. Let's take another with the knees a little wide into that extended child's pose and send the breastbone forward. You can try wiggling your hands a little closer together and letting the forearms come to the floor. Maybe the hands want to come to the back of the head. You can just press your fingertips towards each other and wiggle the elbows a little closer together so you're getting a really nice stretch underneath the armpits. Lifting up and keeping that core engagement in the lower belly for one more breath. And exhale. Let's take it to forearm plank. I'm just going to take my socks off as we start to move a little bit more. It'll be slippery. And so bring your hands together and have your elbows underneath your shoulders. Just look back towards the knees. We'll stretch the right leg back and then the left leg back to find a plank pose. Adjusting as you need to. So the hands can be clasped or the hands can be elbow width apart. Try to puff up between the shoulder blades, keeping the front body hugging into the back body and the hips low for another inhale. Exhale, tap the knees down, thighs. Walk the elbows a little bit further forward to come into that Sphinx pose. And stretch out through the legs. If you need to come a little lower, or hold opposite elbows there. We'll take 3 breaths, connecting with the upper back and the expansion of this whole front chest area, just reversing some of the effects of our hibernation and protection mode. It's a daily invitation just to be here, body in this posture. Breath. Slowly lower down and take the fingers wide. Stretch out through the legs. Draw the chest forward into a gecko shape and then exhale. Drop the left shoulder and look under the right. Inhale, center and exhale. Right shoulder drops, peeking under the left. Inhale, center here. Exhale, lower. Let's take the hands underneath the forehead for a moment, palm on palm. Draw the belly up and in, ground through the front body, through the pubic triangle, and just lift the elbows a little. Take a breath there, inhaling, and then exhale. Lift the head, attach to the hands. If you like, The legs might float a little bit, lengthening out of the hip sockets. One more breath. And lower everything down. Feeling that apana grounding, sinking energy. And then pressing the hands to the low ribs to come up and back through table and into a child's pose with the knees together. Just try that. Just getting a nice round out of the spine. Let's come back to table now. Inhale and exhale. Curl the toes under and press the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Pressing away from the palms, thumb and first finger pressing, and feel like you've got suction cups on the ends of your fingertips. Your knees can have a bend, your heels might be lifted. All good. Shake out the head, do a few circles with the jaw, and move around any way that you might like. Let's come high on the tiptoes now to breathe in and walk the feet up towards the hands. Let's lengthen up halfway and fold on the exhale. Letting the head go. Do that a couple times. Loop the shoulders, draw the belly in, send the chest forward, and then exhale to fold. Once more, inhale. And exhale. And press into the feet and start to bring it all the way up, breathing in. Exhale, trace the center line. Releasing the arms and pause, maybe another loop of the shoulders or shake it out. Come back to just being here in this pose, standing and knowing that you're standing or feeling that you're standing. Feel the feet, lift the toes. How that activates the legs. Prana, the lift, the expand, the crown of the head. And then back down, the apana, sinking and balancing as we move through. A couple of Surya Namaskar A, so let's reach up, inhale. And dive over the legs, exhale. Halfway lengthen, breathe in. And then bend the knees and we'll step the right leg back. Palms press under the shoulders and then the left leg to plank pose. Let's do the forearm plank here. So bring the left elbow down and then the right elbow down. And then either clasp the hands or have them apart looking back. Knees can tap down and then look forward again. Take an extra breath here. So core strength, especially with all the shoveling or slipping. And bring the knees down, thighs. Wiggle through into Sphinx pose. And then exhale to lower. Slide the hands back a little bit more. Loop the shoulders a couple of times. Press the tops of the feet and take it into just a baby cobra. Bringing the spine out of the basket and exhale, lower. Baby cobra again, inhale. Exhale, lower. Don't need to come up very high to feel this. Lengthen out. Maybe slide the hands back a little further and lift the elbows a little higher. Feel that work between the shoulder blades for another breath. Exhale, lower. Press back through table. Let's take one full breath cycle in child's pose. Breathing in. And dropping down. Exhale. Inhale, table. Toes curl under, pressing up and back, downward dog. We'll take 3 breaths there. Ribs moving back towards the thighs and the backs of the thighs moving to the wall behind for 2. And 1, high on the tiptoes, on empty, walk the feet forward. Halfway lengthen, just suggestions with the breath. There's no right or wrong. Fold on the exhale. Press into the feet and come all the way up, breathing in. Right away again, let's go. Exhale, fold. Moving energy, halfway lengthen. Knees bend, palms press, left leg steps back. And then right leg steps back. And then bring the elbows down. Forearm plank. Belly stays lifted, knees up or down for another full breath cycle. Next, exhale, taps the knees, thighs, stretching the legs, and taking one breath in Sphinx. Exhale, lower, slide the hands back a little more. So either cobra or bring the hands further down. Squeeze the elbows and peel the chest through and lift the knees into upward facing dog. Exhale, let's move it back to child's pose for that one full breath cycle. Inhaling and exhaling. Back through table, inhale and exhale. Curl the toes under and take it up. Downward facing dog for 3. Just settling into ground, into breath. Inhale's moving up the spine to the tailbone, and the exhale's dropping down through the whole back line. High on the tiptoes, breathing in, and exhale, walk it through. Lengthen halfway. And exhale to fold. Press into the feet, come all the way up. Inhale and exhale, palms press to heart. We'll bend the knees now. Take the hands into the hip creases and move them back a little bit. I feel my low back starts to arch, so drawing the ribs in and down just so that area is nice and wide. You can keep the hands in the hip creases or pray or reach the arms forward. If the arms are coming forward, then spin those upper arms, the triceps under, so that the palms are more or less towards the ceiling. And the arms can be straight forward or a little higher up. I'm talking a lot. I can feel this in the legs. One more exhale. Empty it out and fold over the legs. Let's come up halfway again, breathing in. And exhale here. Let's take the left leg back, just step it into a low lunge. Let's keep the back knee lifted for a moment as we really lengthen through that front hip flexor psoas. You can have blocks underneath your hands here. So the back knee can come down if you like. We're just going to straighten out the front leg any amount and fold there. And then come back into that low lunge. Inhale. And exhale, hugging the hips up and back. One more time, breathe in. And exhale, straighten the front leg. Let's come back forward to the low lunge on the inhale. If the back knee's not down, then tap it down now. You can wiggle that knee in a little closer so that you can come up and have the legs more or less at right angles. Press away from the front thighs so you'll feel something interesting through that left front hip. You can look down and scoop and hollow and find a cat. And then look forward, but keep some of that strength there. Let's reach both arms up now. And start to twist it over towards the right. So use the core, draw the belly in, and then let the arms come down. And open up. Looking to the side or looking a little bit towards the right. For another inhale. And exhale. Let's just place the left palm on the floor underneath the left shoulder or a little to the side of that. Curl the back toes under again and open up into a side twist. And lean back a little bit. Just enjoy that space across the front chest, coming out of the grounding of the hand and the foot for another inhale. Exhale, bring the right hand down on the inside of the right foot and walk the hands over towards the left. So parallel the feet and walk the hands way out there. Inhale and then exhale, take a fold. You can bend the left knee a little. Exhale. And then through center and bend the right knee a little, kind of like a speed skater. Let's do that one more each time, each side. Walk the hands in a little bit so you can lift up here. Breathing in and then exhale. Bring the hands to the hips and press all the way up. Let's do a reasonably wide leg. We'll turn the right toes towards the front of the mat and start to just settle the hips down, bend through the front knee. Engage the right glutes to keep this area, the inner thigh, the adductor, nice and long. And then open up the arms for warrior two, looking out over the right fingertips. Floating a little bit the upper body. Just what can you do to have a little more ease here? What needs to stay engaged, but what doesn't have to be on full tilt? Let's take exalted warrior, drop the left arm down and reach up through the right arm, breathing in. And out, exhale. We'll straighten the front leg, but keep that side stretch, lifting up and creating some space in the right hip. And then level the shoulders, the arms again. You might step the back foot in a little closer to start to take the hips back and reach out through the right arm, coming towards Trikonasana. Using the core, the strength of the legs to rotate the rib cage. The right arm can come down anywhere along that leg except for pressing into the knee, and the left arm reaches up. You can look down towards the right foot or the side, or up if that feels okay for the neck. For 3, 2, and 1. Let's bend through the front knee again. One more time through exalted warrior. Inhale. And then exhale, warrior two. We'll come high on the back toes so that we can come into a high lunge and reach both arms up. And then exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Stepping back, downward facing dog. If you'd like to take a break here, you can come to child's pose. Otherwise, shift forward for a vinyasa, coming through plank. Just a regular plank now. Tap the knees down and lower. Loop the shoulders for any back bend, cobra, upward facing dog. And then exhale. 3 more breaths in child's pose or downward facing dog. And see if you can just take in the big picture, the body here, the breath here, sound. Finishing the exhaling on empty, start to walk the feet towards the front. Let's come up halfway, breathing in. And folding over the legs, exhale. We'll bend the knees and we'll come back into that chair pose. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. We'll take a tree pose, right side. So press down through the left foot and just open up the right hip a little bit. The right knee turns out. It doesn't have to crank open to the side. Might be more forward facing. Heel above the ankle. Or you can slide the foot up to the shin or the thigh, wherever you're at. You can hold a wall, chair. Nobody cares. Just seeing that interesting dynamic of the inner critic, branches with the arms, hugging the left hip into center and pulling the drawstring at the waist. Just a little bit of encouragement to blossom up and prana, expansion, upper body, supported by the strength of the earth and deep roots. There's a releasing from the pose to bring the right leg forward, give it a little shake. And then just whatever you feel like doing here, just to release some tension that might have built up from the concentrating, shaking and bouncing. And so let's do the second side. I'll just switch around so that I'm going. It makes sense for the view here. Feet can be hips distance apart, or the big toes can be together. We're going to drop down into chair pose, choosing whatever arm position and maintaining the connection with the core and the roots. Still feeling some lightness, a little bit of floating in the chest, and softening the jaw, noticing the wish to escape discomfort. Let's take another breath there and fold over the legs. Exhale. The feet should be hip distance apart now. Come up halfway, breathing in. And exhale, empty, 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 fold. Fingertips to floor or blocks, and step the right leg back. And press out through the right heel, feet or hips width apart. Whatever your hands are on, try to keep them a little bit light. So you can the core lift and the press of the parts of the feet that are touching. You could bring the back knee down for sure, or just straighten out the front leg. So if the back knee is down, then it's rocking lunges with the back knee down. The toes of the front foot can peel towards the face as that leg straightens out any amount. Let's do a couple more. Inhale. And exhale, like a hinge. Let the spine just follow along. Breathing in one more time. And exhale, take it back. Let's shift forward this time and definitely bring the knee down. Walk it in a little bit so you can come up and press away from the front thigh. Scoop the belly, look down a little bit, find a variation of cat or flexion in the spine. Just like that, and then look forward. Let's reach both arms up for a kneeling warrior one. And then exhale, start the twist. Use the ribs. You don't get too far. A little bit of navel drawing back, and then let the arms open up. They can be lower or a different shape. Just keeping the hips fairly square for another inhale. And exhale, the arms come up again, breathing in. The right hand will come down under the shoulder. The fingers can spin out a little bit. The back knee lifts now as we open into that side twist. The right left hip crease draws back, right palm presses. Ball of the right foot activating from the ground up, finding some ease in the upper body, wherever that might be, however small. Exhale, bring the hands down the inside of the left foot and walk the hands around through center. Parallel the feet and walk the hands forward. Once again, just fold over the legs. Let's bend the right knee a little bit here. And then through center. Keep the hips high. And then bend the left knee. Inhale, center. One more time. Right knee bends. Keep a lift under the left inner thigh, left ankle. Inhale, center, and exhale. Switching. Through center, breath comes in. Hands walk back a little. And then exhale, bring the hands to the hips. A little bend at the knees to come up. Pivot the left toes now to face the short edge of your mat. And maybe adjust your stance. So when you bend the front knee, warrior two is there and that knee's not going too far ahead. Moving the torso back in space. And then reaching the arms. Softening what you can. And staying grounded and connected to the lower body. Right arm drops, left arm lifts, exalted warrior. Inhaling and exhale, sinking a little more. Good. Straighten out the front leg. Reverse Trikonasana. And then level the arms, shoulders, and start to take the hips towards the right heel. We're just in that direction to reach out through the left arm. Spin the arms to connect with the legs. Left palm press. Open up the hips and take your expression of Trikonasana. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll reach up on the inhale back to warrior two, so the front knee bends. And then start to take it into a high lunge. So come high on the back toes. Inhale. And exhale, bring the hands down, pressing up and back, downward facing dog. You can just stay here, come to the knees, or come through one more flow to plank, to lower, to a back bend on the breath in. And exhale. Back through to downward facing dog. For 3 breaths there. Body, posture, breath, sound. High on the tiptoes, inhale. Walk towards the front, exhale. Fold over the legs there. Bend the knees one more time, Utkatasana, inhale. And exhale. Tree pose on the second side. Finding the strength of the right leg, hugging that hip to center, just opening up a little bit. You can keep holding on to something or keep the foot on the floor, heel just above the ankle. Or choose where it's going. Doesn't have to be the same on this side. We're all configured differently, left to right. Any expression with the arms. Navigating that effort and ease, balance, ground, sky, space, prana, apana. So come out of the pose, bend the left knee, lift it, and give it a shake. Shake, shake, shake it off. Let's take it down. So turn the toes out. If you'd like to roll up your mat or your blanket, or if you have a cushion, that can come either underneath the heels, or it can be there to catch your seat. So we start to lower down towards a squat. And you might have your hands on the floor. You might be up on your tippy toes with something underneath your heels. If it feels good, you can move around a little side to side. And then try to find some stillness here, maybe using the arms to resist the inner thighs and feel that contraction. Or bringing the palms to heart center. Just letting the belly soften and hang out there for 3, 2, 1. Chin to chest, releasing the arms, legs. If you're on something, let's take that out of the way. Stretch the legs long, bring the fingertips behind the back. And then exhale, use the hands to guide the breastbone a little higher, a little more noble. Or walk the hands forward to pull the ground back, or hold on to any part of the legs that is accessible. And the knees can be bent. The legs are still active. The core should feel good for the low back. If you're reaching for the feet, then you might hook the big toes and pull back a little bit there. For 3, 2, and 1. Start to come up and then down a little bit on the exhale and wave it, inhale. Exhale, lower. Once more in and lower all the way down. And bring the knees in towards the chest for a squeeze. Open the arms wide and take the knees over towards the right elbow for 3 breaths there. The right hand can rest on the outer left thigh. The gaze can be to ceiling or over the left shoulder for 3. 2. Dropping effort to almost nothing for 1. Knees flow back to center and over towards the left elbow, resting the left hand along the right thigh and settling in for 3, 2, 1. Knees center. 1 more squeeze, tuck the chin, curl yourself into a tight little ball, hands on shins or underneath the thigh. And then lower to the floor, either keeping the knees bent and falling into touch with the feet wide, or stretching the legs out long. Of course, adding in any other comfort measures that you like if you're wanting a blanket or extra pillows underneath the head or the thighs. And we're going to take a couple minutes to rest and digest just in silence at the sound of the bell, and then I'll bring us out at the sound of the second bell. Noticing that mind is alive and well, thoughts beckoning, what's for lunch? No problem with all of that. Noticing is just the key. That's the practice. We're on the track. So in a moment, hear the sound of the bell. Taking some time to release, shake, wiggle, just get the circulation going a little bit. If you've been on your back, spend a little time on one side. The rescue pose. And then press up to take a seat. We'll just come back to where we started, connected with the earthiness, with the root, and just getting those basic needs of self-care front and center, and open now to the prana life force energy moving a little more just freely through the body as well. Nodding the chin to express some gratitude towards just this body as it is, towards each other, our community, our tea party here this morning, and for a wish to have the benefits of our practice inform our afternoon and interactions along the rest of what there is. Namaste. Just come and turn off the recording.